They said it was just a casual night out, but for those who know jossgawin, there's no such thing as just casual. When the lights of Osaka glow, and the world becomes a little quieter, that's when you see it, the glances, the distance never too far, and that invisible thread that always ties them together. This isn't about fan service, this is something softer, stronger. Something real. Jossgawin. One night in Osaka. One story of quiet love and silent protection. It was just another night in Osaka for most people, but not for us, because when Joss and Gawin step into the same frame, every street turns into a runway, every glance becomes a scene, and every step feels like part of a love story. From the outside, it looked like a simple night out. But if you looked closer, something warmer, something deeper was unfolding. You see, Joss didn't walk in front. He didn't pull attention. He stayed just behind. Just to the side, always close, never too far, not to lead, not to follow, but to watch over. There's a quiet way someone protects the person they love. It's not loud. It's not forced. It's just there, like Joss always just there. When you turn your head, I'll still be behind you. Not to push, not to hold you back, but to be the steady presence you can count on. I don't need you to say thank you. I don't even need you to notice. Just know, while I'm here, you're safe. Because being next to you, that's the only place I want to be. This wasn't fan service, this was comfort. Ease. Two people who've walked together long enough that even silence feels full. Joss didn't need to say, I'm here for you, because his presence already said everything. They weren't holding hands, they weren't whispering sweet nothings, and yet you could feel the energy between them, like a quiet current flowing unseen but undeniable. This wasn't fan service, this was comfort. Ease. Two people who've walked together long enough that even silence feels full. Joss didn't need to say, I'm here for you, because his presence already said everything. If Dispatch ever tried to expose them, the headline would probably read, this kind of love doesn't need confirmation. But fine, we'll confirm it anyway. And the world wouldn't even be surprised, because the way Joss looks at Gawin, the way he steps just a little closer when the crowd thickens, the way his eyes never drift too far, youth, it's not just friendship, that's someone who cares. Even in another country, even in a crowded city, Joss still moves like a wall between Gawin and the world, not because he has to, but because he wants to. And maybe love doesn't always need a declaration. Maybe it just needs a presence, a steady hand, a soft glance, and someone walking right behind you, not to catch you if you fall, but to make sure you never have to. Jossgawin in Osaka, low-key but loud in all the ways that matter. They didn't need to talk much, because the space between them was already full of understanding, of familiarity. Gawin browses, Joss waits, not checking his phone, not wandering off, just being there. And sometimes being fully present in the little moment says more than any grand gesture ever could. No hand-holding, no leaning in, but the closeness, it's unmistakable, like their steps have been in sync for years. Like even without contact, they're still connected. This is love that doesn't need to prove itself, because it's already understood. There it is, that one look, no script, no direction, just two people who forget the cameras are even there, and in that split second, the world fades out. It's just Joss and the boy he's been quietly protecting all night, a glance that says, you're mine. I've got you. Long after the crowds fade, long after the photos stop clicking, they're still side by side, no spotlight, no performance, Just the two of them, still walking, still matching each other's pace, still jaws going. Because love doesn't always shout. Sometimes it just stays close, unmoving, unspoken, unshakable. No staff. No fan crowd. No one else. Just Joss and Goen, walking quietly under Osaka's warm city lights dashed together. It wasn't staged. It wasn't planned. And that's exactly why it felt real. Two silhouettes moving like they've done this 100 times, slipping into a quiet alleyway cafe, ordering 2 drinks, sitting by the window side by side. Not hiding, but not showing off either. Low-key, but to anyone watching closely, it looked a lot like a dat. A soft laugh, a moment too sweet to ignore, and then that 1 second where Goen slightly leans in, and Jaws just smiles back. That 1 second could make the whole world pause. It wasn't a kiss. It wasn't even a hug, but it had the kind of energy that could make Dispatch drop their cameras and say, with this kind of lovesick energy, there's no need to confirm. But just for formality's sake, yes, we'll confirm it. Congratulations, you're that couple now. This wasn't fan service, this was what happens when the cameras fade and the love stays. Maybe it was the way Goen laughed a little louder than usual. Maybe it was the way Jaws didn't look away not even once. Or maybe it was just the way the world seemed to disappear when they looked at each other. And no cameras. And no scripts. Just them. A quiet night in Osaka that started off normal and slowly became the kind of memory you don't talk about on stage, but hold in your heart. Because what we saw wasn't just a friendship. It was a moment-to connection, a kind of silent language that only 2 people in love understand. And even though they didn't touch, didn't kiss, didn't say the words, their eyes already said it all. If Dispatch had been hiding nearby, watching from the shadows, they wouldn't have needed any PDA, just one photo, that smile, that look, that space between them that didn't feel empty. And they'd write, with this kind of lovesick vibe, there's nothing left to guess. We weren't going to confirm, but honestly, let's just admit it. Congratulations. Jossgawin, you've already told the world without a single word. Sometimes, love doesn't need to hide. It just needs the right night and the right person to walk beside you. They didn't hold hands, they didn't kiss in the open. And yet the air around them felt like something sacred, something real. A night out in Osaka, just the 2 of them. Laughing. Walking side by side, eyes searching only for each other. They didn't try to hide, but they didn't need to announce it either. And maybe, just maybe, that's what makes this love even more powerful. Unspoken, unconfirmed, but undeniably there. So if one day, Dispatch decides to tell the world, we already know what the headline might say. With this kind of lovesick energy, there's no need to confirm, but out of courtesy ingration, we confirm it anyway.